Hello there, this is artist, entrepreneur, and art educator Eric McRay. I'm here in my Raleigh studio at Art Space, and I want to share something with you. This is the color proof, the artist proof of my soon released print, Sensual Sunset. It's from an original acrylic on canvas. This is the proof. This is about 16 by 20 inches. And you can see the vivid colors and the expressionistic brushstroke, very reminiscent of maybe say like a Van Gogh or works of that nature. Hopefully the color translates well through this video. But this is it. I'm going to be picking up the actual prints from the printer this week, and they will be going out soon to you good folks who pre-ordered and were able to get free shipping, and that offer still stands to those of you out there who still want the print, and I'm willing to ship it pretty much anywhere in the world, and I'll pay for the shipping. So here we go. That's Sensual Sunset. Now here's the print, but the color, the proof, but here's the actual size the print's going to be. So this is my other print I just released called Jam Session. It's 18 by 24. This whole new series of prints are all 18 by 24 inches. So I've released a Raleigh Skyline, 2 Raleigh Skyline prints, a print called Sunday based off one of my collages, Jam Session, and now Sensual Sunset. So you'll see the actual difference in size to give you some understanding of how big that print will be. So this is to show you what it's going to look like. This is to show you how big the actual print's going to be. It's on quality stock, and what I do is sign each print in paint, with paint to there, and I'll sign it as well as on the back and indicate the title, my signature, and the year that the print was produced. Okay, so here we go. Here's the tip of the day, the free tip of the day. I get many artists come to me and they say, I did this painting and my relatives want a print of it. And I ask them, well, okay, your relatives want it. And they say, oh, a couple of friends. And the first question I ask is, how many people is that? Because the point of making a reproduction or a series of reproductions is to sell a volume of images. I mean, you may do a small edition. Some editions may be as small as 25. Some artists run editions as big as 100,000, depending on the success of that artist. And of course, the more prints that are produced, less value the print has. But you have to look at your time, your effort, and the cost. If you have a relative that wants a print, you may be able to find an inexpensive way to go to a photo center or go to Walgreens or someplace and send them a JPEG, and they'll print it out on stock, and then you're able then to give it to your relative. Well, here's the deal. Now, if you're going to go through the process to produce G-clays and more expensive printing processes to have a print available for a loved one or a few people, it's really not worth your time. I mean, you might want to be considerate, and you're flattered that someone wants to own some of your work or image. And I'm not telling you not to do it, but don't lose your shirt and go spend a lot of money to produce a print for a relative who just really basically doesn't value your work enough to buy the original, or they're just cheap, or they just blowing smoke. It just sounds nice when they said it, but they don't necessarily really want your work. So then you go through all these, you're so excited, and you're like, oh my God, somebody wants my work, oh, and you run off and make these prints, and you spend your rent money, and you put your, you know, the baby shoe money, and you didn't bought prints, and now all of a sudden they're piled up, and your relative is like, well, you know, something came up, and I really can't do that right now, and yada, yada, yada. So when I decide to make a print, I've already have a good idea about the demand for that image and potentially my long-term use of that image when it's time to do exhibitions, festivals, during certain holidays, certain times when sales increase, or I encounter a group of people who may want to just own reproduction. So you have to take all those things into consideration before you go out of your way to reproduce your work specifically for 1 or 2 or less than 5 people who are saying, I want a print of your work. And also the thing is, the more prints you make, the unit cost tends to go down. The least amount or lesser amount of prints you make, the unit price per print tends to go up. So no need of you jumping through hoops to print 1 or 2 prints, and it costs you 20, 30, 40 bucks to make this print, or maybe more, and then you sell it to your relative for almost what it costs you to make it. Your time has value too. And the point of making reproductions of your work is to maximize your time, be able to make your work more accessible to more people, to be able to generate more revenue from your work, and not have to work yourself ragged painting similar images over and over and over. You should be painting what you enjoy and are passionate about, and thus that's going to draw people to you, because then they're going to be aware of the sincerity or the energy or the positive nature or the message of your work, and then potentially there are people who want to own that work, that image. So all those factors you have to take into consideration, but don't jump through hoops for a handful of people who just may not really fully mean what they say. And here's how you do it. When you have all these people who say they want some of your work, determine a price and then ask them for the money up front. Get paid before you release the print to them. So you say, hey, you know, Uncle Charlie, Aunt Susie, you really want this image. I figure it's going to cost me about this amount of money. Can you go ahead and put a deposit on that, and let's get the ball rolling. And you'll really find out if they're sincere or not. I can find some of the most insincere people you will ever encounter concerning your artwork or your relatives. Hope that didn't offend anybody, but I really don't care, but it's the truth. A total stranger may be much more sincere about your work than your relatives, because your relatives are obligated to a certain extent to be nice to you and tell you things that may not necessarily be the truth. So be quite discerning about the information you hear, and I wish you much success in the print market. Don't be afraid to get out there. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to experiment. You're going to try different things, but ultimately you're going to learn as you go. So get out there. Don't be fearful. Take some risk. Get out there. You're going to profit from it. You're going to benefit from it, but ultimately the most important thing is you're going to grow as an individual. So much success in your art business, and keep in touch. And if there's information you find is useful, beneficial, please share it. I'm going to share this content on Instagram, primarily on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my YouTube channel. So feel free to share the content with others, and make sure you like and subscribe to my channels. Take care and have a good one.